Morning. On November the 17th of last year, a tornado with winds estimated at 190 miles per hour and a damaged width extending 1.5 mile in diameter moved into the nearby town of Washington. A debris ball was detected on weather radar in association with the tornado as the storm moved over the city. Entire neighborhoods in Washington were leveled. Some homes were swept from their foundations. A total of 633 homes, 7 businesses, 7 apartment buildings, and 2,500 vehicles were destroyed in Washington, while minor to significant damage was sustained by numerous other structures. Today we take a few moments to remember that tragedy and celebrate the experience of rebuilding. We had faith that God would work powerfully in the restoration of homes, businesses, and lives in Washington, East Peoria, and Pekin. What follows are 3 stories submitted by people from our congregation who suffered damage. Scott and Gail Sexton's home sustained significant damage from the tornado. Here was their experience. How long was 3 minutes? Too long when you're huddled in the dark against a rumbling basement concrete wall and linked at elbows with your loved ones, praying for safety and trying to remain calm. Add in the sound of glass breaking, loud thumping against the house, all accompanied by sounds of a roaring freight train. 3 minutes can seem like forever. We knew that before coming out of the basement, it wasn't going to be good news. But we're grateful we were safe and would deal with the rest. Our house was severely damaged, but we were not prepared for what we faced 100 feet from our driveway. In those 3 minutes, our neighborhood was torn apart by an F4 tornado and reduced to remnants of destroyed homes. Our first priority was to make sure our son, Chris, was safe at his place of employment across town. Once assured he was safe, recovery mode took over. Sporadic cell phone service kept us from being able to contact family members to let them know we were safe. But a few calls were finally able to go through. Family attempted to come to Washington to help, but was unable to get into town due to the immediate lockdown. The hours following the tornado were spent helping others, assessing our damaged home, and making do with what supplies we had for the night. Checking on the status of our friends in the area was heartbreaking. Although they were safe, so many had completely lost their homes and all their possessions and had no place to stay. Close friends across town gave us a place to stay during the week following the tornado. The next day, a friend, who was a contractor, came out to the house, boarded up the holes in our roof, exterior and interior walls, and our broken windows. With a borrowed generator, we spent the week cleaning the inside of the house of debris, insulation, and glass. Friends with chainsaws arrived later in the week to help with the landscape debris. When the power and gas were turned back on, we moved back into the house. Damage assessment to the exterior of our home included a new roof, windows, siding, soffit and gutters, deck repair, exterior lighting, exterior doors. Interior repairs included new master bedroom ceiling, master bath wall repair, plaster work, painting, flooring, and trim throughout the main level. Major repairs began in March and was completed by June. We're truly grateful for the outpouring of love and support from our families, First Baptist Church, OSF, Caterpillar, Scottish Rite, Grand Lodge of Illinois, Red Cross, Washington High School, and friends who helped make us whole again during the rebuilding process. Karen and Butch Vickerman wrote of their experience. When arriving home from church, we found 2 large pine trees on our roof and 15 windows broken on back of the house. Furniture in the sunroom, living room, and back bedroom were covered with glass. The west wall had holes, and the front bedroom had a 2x4 through the west wall. There was a broken window in the basement with glass damage. Later, our pipes burst, causing water damage. We stayed at Johnny's Holiday Inn in East Peoria for 10 days, then to a rented home on Linwood Avenue in Peoria, owned by Butch's cousin. We moved back into our home 9 months later on August 30th after many repairs. We greatly appreciate all the help from State Farm and our general contractor. And finally, here's an account from Brett Miller. I remember sitting on the couch in front of the window as the Bears game was getting ready to start when my wife's phone alerted her to some bad weather getting ready to hit Washington. It was around this time that the sirens went off as we picked up the dogs and went to the basement. As we were heading into the basement, I remember the electricity going out, which for me was not abnormal. As you can imagine, the kids and dogs were nervous as we were in the basement and had only the light coming in from the window wells. We must have been down there for a few minutes when I decided to go back upstairs to storm watch. I walked out onto the porch in shorts. It was warm for November. The sky had a green tint to it and was strangely quiet. As I walked back inside toward the back sliding glass door, I stepped out onto the deck. At this time, it started to hail. I said, okay, it's starting to get a little more out of my comfort zone, so I picked up some hail, headed back down to the basement to show Hannah. As I got back to the basement, my wife Elizabeth told me, "You're not going back up there. My phone is saying there are tornadoes on the ground, it's not safe." I assured her I was just up there and that was not the case. But if it was going to be, I needed to shut off the stove, and I'm not sure why I needed to shut it off. Probably because I did not know how long we would be in the basement, and I did not want to burn the casserole. So I went back upstairs, and I came out of the basement door into the kitchen. I was able to see a tornado as it was coming through the neighborhood behind me. I was able to get the door shut and run back downstairs with enough time to tell my family to get away from the windows. We ended up huddled in the middle of the basement with my wife and I on top of the kids. I remembered as I came down the stairs looking at my wife and saying, "It's not good. We're going to get hit." I'm not sure how to describe the feeling of sitting there in the middle of the basement knowing that you're about to take on a tornado and completely uncertain of how things will shake out when it's gone. I do know that as we sat there holding on for dear life and as the ground started to rumble and the light soon turned to darkness, that there was a point when I remember having a conversation with God. I asked Him to please keep us safe. Please help us through this. And it wasn't seconds after that that the windows blew in and my ears popped and the basement filled with debris. All I can say is, after asking for help, everything got quiet. It was like you see in the movies, when things blow up, things slow down and sounds were muffled. God took control of that situation and helped us through it. I had the family stay put as I walked back upstairs. When I opened the door to see what had happened, I was in shock. I pushed my way through what was my kitchen. I stepped through the glass door onto my deck to see total destruction. There was nothing left. The houses I saw 20 seconds ago were now flattened. Going through this whole process of building, there's one thing that I wish I could have done. That is push a pause on life so I could fix everything. The reality is that life does not pause and will not stop just because your life gets turned upside down. What it does mean is that when life gets tough and almost unmanageable, you need to be able to turn to someone for support. That someone is God. And God helps manage that stress through family and friends and other support pillars such as churches, Red Cross, Salvation Army, etc. There's no way I could have gone through this alone. I'm extremely grateful for everything that I have in life today. Not that I wasn't before, but I make it a point every day when I wake up before I go to bed to say thank you to Jesus and to God, because without them, that day I may not be here. One thing that did change is my relationship with God. I feel bad that it took a tornado to rock my world, to open up my communication channel. But I talk to God more now than I ever did before. Thank you again for all that supported my community and my family through these tough times. I am forever thankful for everything you've done for us. Although this experience was devastating to all who suffered losses, both great and small, the rebuilding of our community is a testimony to God's faithfulness. This morning we pause to raise to God in gratitude how He's helped us rebuild, restore,